Welcome to Success in Doses. I'm your host, Saleh. This podcast is about the real journeys behind meaningful careers, the pivots, the risks, the moments of doubt, and the lessons that shaped who we become. Each episode, I sit down with people who are building impactful lives and careers, and we break down the experiences that help them get there. Because success rarely happens overnight, it happens in doses. Let's dive in on becoming on purpose. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another amazing episode of Success in Doses podcast. I'm very excited about today's conversation, as today we are talking about investing and turning what we know and what feels natural to us into ownership and something that can transform the community around us and using our natural talent. And so, as I started looking for other examples that are out there in the profession of pharmacy and even beyond, I had this unbelievable opportunity through Instagram of being connected with our guest speaker today and the person who's going to help facilitate this conversation. Our guest today is Dr. Desiree Adams. She is currently a PGY1 pharmacy practice resident at University Hospitals in Cleveland, Ohio, where she's continuing to grow in her clinical skills and passion for patient-centered care. She was born and raised in Savannah, Georgia, and graduated as valedictorian from Alfred Eli Beach High School in 2013. Her journey in pharmacy began with earning an associate's degree in pharmacy technology from Rasmussen College, followed by an associate of health science in pre-pharmacy from South College in Knoxville, Tennessee. She then went on to complete her Bachelor's of Pharmaceutical Sciences in 2023 and her Doctorate of Pharmacy in 2025 at Mercer University College of Pharmacy. She is founder and CEO of Brighter Futures Tutoring Services, which she started in 2013. Through this business, she's been able to mentor and support students of all ages, helping them build confidence and succeed academically. In her free time, she enjoys playing the piano, spending time with her family, and strengthening her faith. Welcome to the pod, Desiree.
I'm glad to be here.
It's my pleasure to finally, and I think we've had so many messages that we've exchanged on Instagram. This is the first time that we are having a conversation. So I'm very excited that I'll have an opportunity to ask you more about yourself and really how we got connected. And so for the people that are listening and have no idea, can you talk to them a little bit about how your journey with tutoring, how did that start? What made you think like, hey, I think I may have something to offer in this space?
So the way I got into tutoring was through my church. So back in 2013, our church had a program called Homework Help Academy. So we would help tutor kids while the parents were at Bible study. They had like a program in the educational building where we helped students, and everybody kept telling me, "Oh, you good with helping students learn how to talk, how to do this. They understand you, so you should start a business." So I started it with people in my church, just coming to me asking me to help their kids learn how to read, write, do math. And then I did SAT, ACT prep for some kids in the church. And so that turned into me doing a business. And my granddaddy was like, okay, we could go ahead and get you set up for your LLC and everything.
Go ahead, Granddad, because he saw that this thing was really something. So where do you think that passion for or the skill set for teaching came from? Were you always, as far as you can remember anyway, were you always interested in teaching other people how to be better at certain things? How did that start?
So I think it started as a little girl, cause what I used to do is I had my baby dolls and my granddaddy and grandmama, they have a deck on their back porch, and I used to spread out the baby dolls, and one day I'll pretend like we in church and I'm preaching a sermon, and one day I'll do it like we in class and I teach them a lesson. So it came at a young age with me teaching, and then I used to help different family members and stuff with their homework, like my cousins and stuff. I used to help them with their homework as well, so that kinda led me into tutoring and stuff.
That's really cool. I think like that's amazing because it seems like it's almost like a natural talent, like a God-given talent and you enjoy it. You seem to be good at it, but you've come a long way because you graduated from the baby dolls now to creating your own you created a NAPLEX study assistant tool. So tell the people a little bit about how that got started because that's when I connected with you.
Yeah, so what happened was when I was in pharmacy school, I had different classmates and stuff who used to come to me like, "Oh, you good at this." And then we used to go to the library. So it started with us going to the library after class every day and we would go over different topics. And then when they saw how I explained things and stuff, they was like, "Well, you should make us like a study guide and then we could use that to study." So
Yeah.
when we started studying for the NAPLEX, I took the stuff in the book and I tried to break it down
Mhm.
into where they can understand it. And then I did my rotations in Savannah while the rest
Okay.
of them were doing their rotations in Atlanta. So what we did was I made a study guide. It was like a Google Doc where everybody had access to, and then we used to get on the Zoom call and have like different study sessions.
That's crazy because I remember like I tried to ask you questions and I'm like, how did you do this? How did you get started? But I was so fascinated and so excited after you circled back and you were like, I passed my NAPLEX and I'm fully licensed now. I was so happy for you. But how do you from the time where your granddaddy, right? Like he recognizes in you like, all right, Desiree, I think we need to go on ahead and set you up with an LLC. How do you go from that point of somebody else recognizing the potential in you to you being like, you know what? This is a business. Like, let me get my thing and myself organized. Take us through what that thought process was like. Okay, so real quick, if you're enjoying this conversation, go ahead and rate and review the podcast. It helps more people find the show and keeps the conversation going. Okay, so let's get back to the conversation.
So when I first was thinking about starting it, my granddaddy said, "Okay, we'll get the paperwork together." And at first, I was like nervous and scared about it, but then I went in prayer because me, I'm a person that like prayer. I pray about everything before I do it. So
Yeah.
I had to pray about it, and then the Lord was telling me, "Well, this is the talent that I gave you, so you need to go out there and use it and show others."
Yeah.
So I try to let that be my light in
Yeah.
by helping others and showing others how to.
Think that's so beautiful. That's so amazing because it goes back to that whole conversation about purpose, like putting everything, like holding on to your faith and having that be the anchor that guides you with all the decisions. It can be so powerful in taking away how nervous we get or scared we get when we're going to do something new or even taking on the responsibility of being like, I have something to share and teach other people. How do you balance that? Because I know I struggle with that sometimes. Like in the beginning, when I started helping people get residency, I used to be like, girl, do you know what you're doing? So, how does that, like, do you have any of that? Like, maybe you don't go through that. I don't know.
So at first when I was helping people, I was like, "Do I really understand what I'm helping them with? Do I really
Yeah.
understand the subject?" I
Yeah.
had to go back and learn some things for myself and try to learn the new ways, cause I know they teach math different now than how we grew up teaching math. So I had to try to learn the new ways of how they do things
Yeah.
and be of a help to them.
Yeah.
Try to teach them the old ways too, cause I'm like, "If it's not broke, why fix it?"
Exactly. So this is the thing, right? You a tutor. Maybe you can help me understand this because my niece stays with me sometimes when my sister is going out of town for work. And I gotta Google all these different things and all this new math and get on YouTube. And I'm like, this is not how I learned it. What do you understand about why they're trying to reinvent math?
I don't know why they're doing it. I feel like the old way is better. I feel like that new way kinda dumbs it down some.
Mm. So
Because I
good.
know people used to be scared of math, and now I know more kids, they enjoy it more now, the way they teach it
Oh.
now, so I guess they try to adapt it to different learning styles.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cause math, like, I was good at it, but never really liked it. It's really weird. I was good at it, but never really liked it. It's not till I went to my first chemistry class where some of like that analytical part and math started coming together that I started to enjoy the math that I was doing. But I definitely was one of those kids that was super intimidated, even though like, but I worked really, really hard on it. So that's great. And I saw that you're also an author. I see you didn't put that in your bio, girl. Why?
I don't know. I'm just a new author, so I'm getting used to it now.
But I think so I have had thoughts about publishing a book for a really long time. And let me tell you something. It's one of the most intimidating thoughts that can come in my mind. And so when I saw that you published, I was like too excited to be like, girl, you got to come on a podcast and talk to people about this because I think it's so brave. It's so bold that you've done it. Where did the idea come from to say, by the way, she's also in a residency and she's publishing it? Like, can we just talk about, can we talk about how super, I don't even know how you're doing all this, but where did the idea for the book come from for you? Had it been something you thought about for a really, really long time?
So, I always used to, like, write in creative stories from a young age. So,
Ah,
I wrote this as, like, a play, and then my mama, I used to read it to her back in the day, but she wasn't really paying attention when I was reading it. You know how you listen to your child reading stories? And then one day I was like, "Well, now I wanna make it a book." And so I decided to make it into a book. And then I decided, well, I'm not gonna go with a publisher, Imma try to publish it myself. And so
good.
I did everything through Amazon with trying to publish it, but the only hard part is, like, trying to edit it yourself.
I think that it is absolutely amazing that you just was like, I think I'm just going to do it on my own. I think like for you, you probably think like, oh, this and that, and like I'm just being Desiree, but I could tell you that as a person who's contemplated publishing for a really long time and even said, "Oh, I'm going to do it myself," or I think it's a really big accomplishment. So I really wanted to like congratulate you and applaud you on publishing the book, but also I want you to tell people about this book and what the book is about. We want people to know about this book, girl.
Mhm. So the book is called Circle of Deceit. And so it's like a fiction story. So I made it a fiction story. So it's about a family and the daddy name is John Daddy Teller Sr. and he dies. And at the reading of his will, it sends shockwaves through the influential Teller family. So what should have been a moment of mourning quickly becomes the beginning of a dangerous battle of power, wealth, and control of the
Mm,
multi-million-dollar empire known as Taylor Enterprises. So it has a
mm.
lot of, like, life lessons in it, and then it
Okay.
also has a lot of, like, business things in it.
Okay.
So it's like a story about life lessons, and then it's basically like watch your back and making sure you know who to trust.
Where did the inspiration for this book come from, girl?
I just came up with it on my own, cause I seen stuff in life that happen with different things in life,
Yeah.
and I seen how people can sometimes be like, you wanna go on your path, and sometimes some people can be backstabbers. Some
Yeah.
people not always there for the right reasons in your life.
Mhm. And so in all of those lessons or things that you've observed in life, what has that taught you as a person, but even as a person that's building a business? What has some of those observations that you've had about people watching or seeing situations unfold? What have some of those things taught you about how you want to move forward in life?
It taught me to keep my faith at the center of my life.
Yeah.
And then it also taught me to continue to look out for yourself first, and
Yeah.
then you also have to watch who you surround yourself with as
Yeah.
well.
Absolutely. This is so it's very important because I could tell you like the advice that a lot of people give me as a person who's creating and establishing businesses, they're like, you gotta be involved because you need to understand the ins and out. Otherwise, like, you're not going to realize like you're working really, really hard, but can't have nothing to show for it because you just don't know all of what's going on around you. I really wanted to touch on being a young entrepreneur and creator because I don't think people understand like the type of space that we are in, right? Like you're taking something that you are either passionate about or something that you've spent time and energy to build and understand and learn to turn that into a fully functional business. And it sounds like you tutor children of all ages because you're telling me about new math. You're definitely tutoring kids of all ages. Are you still tutoring that age gamut now?
Mhm. 'Cause
You
I
are.
I tutor from like, they can be elementary school all the way up to college, and I have some adults who I was tutoring too.
Yeah. What's been the biggest difference? So let's say between the tutoring the fifth grader and tutoring the sophomore in college that's taking their first writing class. How what difference? How do you adjust? Like what version of Desiree the tutor shows up for the eighth grader or fifth grader versus the college student? Is there a difference?
So, like, when I tutor, I try to individualize it. So, the first thing I do is ask them how they learn, and then I
Yeah.
try to individualize the tutoring session based on how they learn.
Mm.
And then I try to assess where their skill level is at first.
Yeah.
Then I know how to gauge the lesson plan and how I'm gonna go about helping them. And then like most time with the college age, it's like they trying to get used to coming from high school where you didn't have to study as much to when you go into college, you can't just think you can just not study and pass.
No.
You have to really study.
It was it's such an adjustment, and I don't think it's talked about enough, like, that transition where you go from, "I show up, I turn in my homework on time, I do my group projects, I'm gonna get an A in the class," versus you could do all those things in college and you still have to study because you could do all those things and still not pass. And I think like it could be a really jarring and like, what do you mean I'm about to fail this class? I come to class and I do the homework and I'm still about to fail. So I think that that's a really great thing. For what you're building right now, the tutoring business, you've started authoring, you're publishing, what does success look like for you when you think about it and you sit down and kind of project into the future? You say that you pray, and I think one of the benefits of people that really pray and you pray with intentionality is it forces you to sit down and really think about what brings you true meaning and purpose and joy. Are you able to share with us a little bit like what does that vision of success looks like for you? Okay, so real quick, if you're enjoying this conversation, go ahead and rate and review the podcast. It helps more people find the show and keeps the conversation going. Okay, so let's get back to the conversation.
So for me, I think of success as trying to make sure I'm helping others and also making sure I'm helping my family as well. So
Mhm.
I don't want to just be successful for myself. I want to be successful for the future generations
Yeah.
that's coming behind me because I'm trying to be an example to like my cousins. They have children, and I want to be like an example for their children to look up to know that they can do it. If I can do it, they can do it. Because some of them are about to they in high school now, getting ready to graduate, go to
Yeah.
college, and I want them to have a good example to follow behind.
A role model. That's so admirable. I love that. I really love that. That's amazing because I feel like in any community, you can never have enough people that are doing well. Like we need everybody in any community to be that example that other people can see and be like, well, look at Desiree, like she's doing it and she's able to do it. Like I can do it too. So I find that incredibly commendable. I ask every guest this question because I think one of the things that I've been able to benefit from really, really well in my career is getting really good advice. Some of the advice wasn't always good, but as a tutor, what's been advice that you received that you thought was absolutely the worst advice anyone could have given you?
Not go to pharmacy school.
No way!
That was the advice somebody gave me. They said, "You should not go to pharmacy school."
Oh, girl, you can't stop right there. You gotta tell us
Yeah, so
what.
so they told me, cause I was on my first, day I was working at Kroger. That was my first day as a pharmacy intern at Kroger,
Wow.
and she said, "You chose the wrong profession. You shouldn't go to pharmacy school." And it was a pharmacist telling me that. She was like, "You should have been a PA, a nurse practitioner, or go to medical school." She was like, "Pharmacy is a dead profession. You shouldn't go to it. It's no growth in pharmacy. You're gonna hate your job." And I was like, just because you don't like where you at, don't mean I can't find something that will work out for me. So I always tell people pharmacy is continuing to grow and it's more than just doing retail hospital. You have to look for opportunities and you have to network with people. Cause I never knew that I was gonna come to Cleveland to do a residency. I thought I was gonna stay in Georgia, get a hospital or a VA residency. Then this
Yeah.
opportunity came upon me, and I'm doing ambulatory care, managing my own patients, sending in prescriptions by myself
Yeah.
with no issues. So I'm
I
like,
love
this is
that.
the perfect residency for me, and I never would have found it if I gave up like she told me to.
100%. And I think that's the lesson here because I think that we tell people you need to get some good advice. You need to talk to people that are already in and they're going to give us they're going to give you some advice. But no one prepares you for the fact that sometimes some of that advice can be people projecting onto you. Like she basically looked at her career and how miserable she was and the fact that she feels stuck because I think some pharmacists they feel like they're stuck either because of life circumstances or professional choices but they feel stuck and then they tell other up and coming people that don't pick this profession at all. So I always tell people like be very wary of people who give you advice that's like global. Like the person that tells pharmacy is the greatest career you could ever have. It's roses. It's just everything is awesome over here. Be careful about that advice and be careful at the person who's telling you that it's also the absolute worst because reality is to your point. You got to network effectively. You got to be open to new opportunities and exploring because the profession is growing and changing. Wow, I can't believe like see, that's never happened to me, even though people say that like they were told to their face, like, don't don't go to pharmacy school. Yeah, that's crazy. So then for somebody that received really what turned out to be bad advice, and I'm glad you didn't listen to it, what is one piece of advice that you have for somebody right now that is trying to figure out what to do next?
I would tell them, if they're a Christian person, I would tell them to pray about it, cause
Yeah,
that's what I did. At first, I didn't know if I wanted to do a residency or not.
yeah.
Then I sat and I prayed, I read my Bible, and then I just trusted in God with the process. And then I would tell anybody, like, just sit by yourself and think in your own thoughts and then write down things that you feel inspired by,
Mm.
and then try to use that to navigate your next point.
Yeah.
Like, if you like to journal, I like to journal a lot.
Me.
So I feel like journaling a lot and being by yourself helps
Yeah.
you to see and have more clarity.
Yeah.
Like going with other people's opinions,
Yeah.
put them out the way and just think about what do you want for yourself.
Yeah. And you see, like Desiree, like I'm so glad you're saying that because it sounds so simple because we've practiced it. And what I've learned over the years is sometimes people are really scared to do exactly that, like sit down by themselves and reflect and actually think about what it is that they want. It can be very, very scary and intimidating for them if they've never done it. But I always tell folks, and I'm like, if you're afraid of your alone time, you need to do it more because the first few times that I was like being consistent with journaling, it wasn't very deep. Like I feel like I was just talking about the day I had. Like it wasn't very deep. And then I went from that to starting to journal in a way that almost felt prayerful. Like I was writing down my thoughts and feelings and aspirations and looking for guidance about what step I was going to take next, right? What is your journaling like? What do you have a process or at all or anything?
So what I try to do is I try to base it on like a scripture for the day.
That's true.
So
That's
that's
really
what
good.
I try to base it on a scripture for the day, and
Yeah.
then I let that be my guide for my journaling. And then, cause before I used to just write whatever on paper, but then when
Yeah.
I started to write it based on the scripture, I saw like different things in my life take place, and I saw a transformation in my life.
That's amazing. I love that for you. I'm so happy for you. I'm really proud of you for all the work you're doing and making yourself available at scale to help people of all ages accomplish their goals of doing well academically. It's something I support and will always admire. I appreciate your time. Before we let you go, though, for anyone who wants to find the book, anyone who wants to connect with you, how can they do that?
So I'm on Instagram. You can find me at Desiree.k.adams. And also you can find my book on Amazon. It's called Circle of the Sea.
Very good. Thank you so much for your time. I can't thank you enough. And thank you for saying yes. Thanks, Desiree.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Okay, so now that it's just us, this is where the power for me of social media will be forever undefeated. If it weren't for Instagram, if it weren't for Desiree's courage to just inbox me and say, hey, I created this NAPLEX study guide. If you know anybody that is looking for help as they're preparing for NAPLEX, you can share it with them or send them my way. I would have never connected with her. And I'm proud of her for her residency position out in Cleveland, and she's doing well. But I think the thing that we learned the most about Desiree is again, every mission being anchored and placed in the shadow of purpose. Having things that govern your step that really transcend you. It helps with the fear that we have about doing bold things and big things and brave things. And it really does help give us that courage of knowing that whatever the challenge is and whatever the journey is, we are not at it by ourselves. And I think this is where faith can be such a superpower for someone. You find yourself doing really bold and brave things that you would otherwise kind of agonize over and have so much anxiety around. But I think, like in talking to Desiree today, being published, completing a residency, passing her board exams on first try, graduating valedictorian, service and community bubbles to the top for me as a lesson we can learn from her and how she's living, and tutoring people of all ages and helping others accomplish their goals. She talks about how she wants to be a role model directly in her family, but also for others in her community. I admire people that are purpose driven. And I admire Desiree, particularly because of all of the amazing things that she's accomplished already. I cannot wait to see all of what's coming next. As always, I am grateful, very, very grateful for you choosing to start your Monday morning with this podcast on a high note. As always, rating, subscribing, and reviewing to this podcast is one of the most powerful things that you can do to help spread the word and support this podcast. I am grateful as always. Please have a wonderful rest of your week. Okay, bye. If this episode gave you something to think about, something to hold on to, or even something to act on, I want to ask you for one more thing. Take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It feels really small, but it's actually one of the biggest ways you can support this show. It helps more people find these conversations and become part of this community we're building right here on Success and Doses.